assessment, or the load estimating. This is a little different. Sometimes we use the word kind of loosely, the stuck assessment, to mean both, is the vehicle components intact, are there obstacles preventing the recovery, as well as the load assessment. But let's just get into the load assessment. As I said before, there's the weight of the vehicle, the type of material it's stuck in, and that can be pavement, hard pavement, for example. You're just dragging along. Grass, wet sand, gravel, soft, dry sand, clay, light, shallow mud, heavy, deep mud, kind of different kinds of material. Then how deep it is. Is it just shallowly stuck, or is it up to the axle? Most of the time it's just shallowly stuck. It's just a couple inches into it, but it's enough that they can't move. And then the slope comes into play. If you have to pull something up a slope, the gravity actually adds more load to it. So you take the stuck assessment from how deep it's stuck, how heavy it is, and what it's stuck in, and add to it the slope assessment. The general rule on a slope is you take the degrees of the slope and divide it by 60. So if you had a 30-degree slope and divide it by 60, you get 50%. And if your stuck assessment says this vehicle is, we're going to need to pull 4,000 pounds to get this vehicle out, if you then have to pull it up a 30-degree hill, you have to add 50% more, which is half of the 4,000, and you have to pull 6,000 to get it out of the stuck and up the hill at the same time. Just as some examples, if you're pulling on wet sand, it's 15 to 20% of the gross vehicle weight. So you figure how much the vehicle weighs. Most vehicles are going to be 4,000 to 5,000 pounds. Sometimes you run into 6,000. And you need a fifth of that, which isn't too bad, 1,000 pounds or something to pull it out of dry sand or wet sand. If you're in deep, heavy mud, it's anywhere from 50 to 70% of that gross vehicle weight. And now we're talking about shallowy stuck.
That's a shallow,
just shallow stuck. That you're not grounded yet. Your axles are still above ground, or your hubs and your differential. All right? If you are stuck up to the axle, just forget all about that. Percentages on what kind of material it is and so forth. You're stuck up to the hub, take 100% of the gross vehicle weight. If you're up to the top of the tires, take 200%. And any, over the hood, at least 300%. And so you're not shallowly stuck in that case. So
no, you're really stuck in
it. Yeah. And anything over a 60-degree slope, we're going to use 100% of the weight of the vehicle. So generally, if you always, just as rule of thumb, if you don't have these papers and you can't really measure it precisely, you can use anywhere from 30 to 50% of the weight of the vehicle, plus half of the weight of the vehicle for a slope. Okay, so that's the recovery assessment and the stuck assessment. Having a recovery meeting and getting everybody up to speed with the plan.